Hey guys, so today you and I are going to talk about making the switch. So let's get into it. So the question in question was a bit of a story. Hi Frederick, I have a question for you and I'd be glad if you help me out. I have an offer from a crypto startup. The money is good, but what I don't like about it is that they don't have paid vacations. Usually here in Russia it's 28 days per year. And the holidays too, because they have people from different countries and the holiday dates vary. Also, they have two meetings per day. The first one is at 10 a.m. and the second one is at 8 p.m. As you can see, there's a bit of a gap, which is not that common in my experience. From what I understood, they have a very strong team of front-end developers. The technical interview was very good, and the interviewer had really good knowledge of many concepts. It's actually funny because I learned something during an interview. Those are the best interviews, dude. Like, they don't happen often, but those are great. I asked them about their front-end developer level. They said that there are 6 front-end developers and 3 of them are seniors. It's way better than in other companies where I was interviewed, where they mostly have 1 mid-level developer or some, and 1 lead per team, who is usually better at the back-end work. FYI, I have 2 years of work experience as a front-end developer. I consider myself a mid-level plus developer. At my current job, I'm better than the other mid-levels, I guess because I spend a lot of my free time learning new things. Should I accept this offer? If it would be and would it be better for my skills? Would it be helpful as I think to work as I'm going to be able to work with senior developers? Or is this some magic pill bullshit that I made up in my head, um, and my progress really only depends on me? Thank you so much for your videos. No sweat. Thank you for watching. So this is a tricky one. I'm not gonna lie to you, this is a mixed bag for me. So the first thing that stands out to me is that, alright, you don't have paid vacation. Like off the bat, immediately, that would stand out to me as something that's really bad. Because basically what that means is that if you don't have paid vacation, I mean, you have to decide for yourself, is this something that is important to you? Because as long as they're paying you for your time and you don't get to take the holidays off, I mean, you can buy that time yourself. And if you are a real worker bee and you don't really care about it, then it shouldn't factor in. Like at the end of the day, I think that you should do what I like to do at the very least when I consider any job opportunity. Don't think so much about what's common and what's not common. Look at the package. Look at this as you buying a product or as accepting an offer. Well, technically it is an offer. And just look at what is the offer. Like, is this a good offer for you? If it feels good, then go for it. Otherwise, you should consider it. I'm not sure how it works in Russia, but they can't here, at least here in Sweden, they couldn't. I don't think they can even legally say to you that they're not going to pay you for the holidays because they have to. Might be different in Russia, but the other thing that stands out to me is the 10 a.m. and the second meeting is 8 p.m. Are these mandatory meetings? Because if they're mandatory meetings, I hope that you realize that that means that the 8 p.m. meeting is going to basically control your entire life. So unless this is an all remote type of thing, and I don't know what your commute is going to look like, this is going to have a major impact on your personal time. Even if you can get in, like you can sleep in, which, like, I mean, to me, it's like I'm not going to assume anything, but it seems to me that that's what they're optimizing for. They're optimizing for people being able to come in later, if there is even such a thing as flex time. But I'm leaving that to you to figure out, because these are things that you should really figure out before you say yes to something like that. Because if you have a mandatory meeting at 8 p.m., that basically means, as I said, that you can at best, and depending on the meeting, if it's if it's 15 minutes, that's one thing, but it can also be a longer meeting depending on this type of meeting that we're talking about. And then you have the commute, which is time that you should account for. I like to do this. I think that everybody should do this. When you're looking at a company and you feel fairly certain that you want to, well, when you feel like you have some options, you can be a little bit big picture. And what I mean by big picture is ask yourself, like, what is the locations of the office? What are the work hours and things like that? Like, really consider, how is working here going to impact my life? Because if you have 2 years of work experience, I don't think you have to be so worried. I'm not saying that you're given to get every single job, but with 2 years of experience, you are still, like, you are in the range where there are a lot of opportunities for you. So you could look around a little bit more. Not saying that this isn't right for you, but I'm saying that I mean, I have a coworker who he loves working for the company, but he had a daily commute of 3 hours every day. And that's basically him. Like, I mean, his entire life was controlled by his job, because the time it took him to get in and time to get home was so long. It took so long that he actually finally moved into the city, because like, he realized that he only has time to go to work, come home, eat, sleep, and repeat. That's it. And that's usually that is something that you should consider when you have a time restriction on meetings and things like that. I mean, shit, if he had an 8 p.m. meeting, he would be home at, like, yeah, it's not a good schedule for him. On the other hand, as you were describing, like, you have so-called senior coworkers. Now, this one thing, the technical interviewer, the person who interviewed you, is that going to be a teammate to you? Because that's something to be considerate of. If you have a very knowledgeable interviewer, that is a very good thing. That indicates that there might be some skilled developers on the inside. But the thing is, if you haven't talked to any of them and you haven't really had a chance to, like, share some ideas and so forth, and I mean, you never really know. Like, you never really know exactly who you're talking to. Ideally, you want to have some short little lunch meeting with them and just sit and jab, shoot the shit, or whatever the Americans call it. I don't know why we would be shooting shit. We're just talking. But yeah. So without that, it's hard for you to tell, like, how much of a back and forth this is here. Because, I mean, they could be senior, but they could also be douchebags and not really want to talk to you. I'm not saying that that's the case. It's usually not the case. But that is a very real thing. So in order for me to give you any type of guidance here, I will say to you that there is an opportunity for you to grow here. And I think, depending on how much of a risk taker you are, that you can take this job, assuming now that you are okay with the fact that you have no paid vacations or holidays and stuff like that, and you are okay with the time restriction. And if you're looking at your own life, how is this going to affect your personal time? Because this already sounds like a company where, yeah, this is your life now. Like, you get in here, this is your life now. We're your family. This is what you're doing. Not saying that that's the case, but you need to feel that out. And if you're not willing to commit to a company in that way, especially, I mean, it's a crypto startup, so I can kind of imagine what they are about. You should be aware of what you're getting yourself into, and that it might actually spill over to other parts of your life. If you're fine with that, then try it out. You can always go somewhere else. Like, there's always, I mean, you can always go and do something else if you figure out that, actually, you know what? I went in here trying to find senior coworkers who are going to help me develop, and I don't really feel that I'm getting that. And so you can move to the next thing. Honestly, if you want to make it easy on yourself, try to ask yourself this. Would I be willing to commit to this company for at least 6 months? Because that's usually how long, at the very minimum, you should stay. In my opinion, at the very least, you should stay at the company before you consider, like, hopping to the next thing without sort of making it weird on your CV. So what I want you to take away from this is that I don't think that you're feeding yourself some magic pill, because this, I would say that this is a very mixed bag. And I understand the allure of you getting to work with more senior coworkers, which is a very good thing. Now, you have 2 years of experience, so I think that you should remember that there are other seniors around. It's very difficult, though, because, as you were saying yourself, the norm is that you don't really have, especially in the front-end space. I mean, I will even go as far as to say that I very much wonder if they are actually seen. Like, for me, I've never met a real senior front-end developer, by my definitions, of course. So they're really tough to find. But if you find people that can teach you something, and you feel very certain that that's the case, then you can try it out, assuming that you're willing to buy the downsides. Because, I mean, it's going to be that way for you for every company. There's going to be pros and there's going to be cons, and you have to just look at the offer from your perspective, for you personally, and just go, yeah, I think I would like this. I think that all things considered, this is for me. And should it turn out that no, this is actually not for you, you can actually move. give it 6 months. I would say if you can feel like in your psyche, just like do some reflection and feel if this doesn't turn out to be super, can I mean, you can jump faster than 6 months, but if you can feel like, yeah, I could actually live this way for a certain amount of time, I could commit to this company, then try it out. As long as you're willing to stick it out for a little while and just see what it's about and give it an honest shot, it might be the perfect thing for you. But as I said, remember, it's kind of weird for a company to have like meetings that late in the evening and so forth. So it sounds to me that this is going to be an environment where they're going to look for you to be very committed to the company. So ask yourself, are you open to that? Have a great day.